So we're now on the start line with the Thames Challenge Cup.
Attention!
And once again, we've got De Hoop of the Netherlands over on the Berkshire station and London Rowing Club A on the Buckinghamshire station, just on your right there. Now, Tom, we've just seen De Hoop merely 2 races ago, I think, going down the track in the Wyfold Challenge Cup. They're now here with their 8 in the Thames Challenge Cup, blasting off the blocks.
Yeah, they love it, Henley Regatta, the boys from De Hoop. They are always here, if not on the water, then on the bank. And the 8, I think, is their top boat at the regatta. They had a little bit of an interesting start there, caught their blades on their bow side, but they've recovered to lead London by a third of a length. This, of course, London's, I think, 3rd ranked sweet crew. They've got a fantastic Britannia Challenge Cup 4 for club. Cox 4s, they've got a wonderful Wyfold Challenge Cup 4 for Coxers. And this, the 8, their 3rd ranked squad boat. So wonderful depth from London, but at the moment not able to keep up with the pace that De Hoop is setting.
Yeah, tough to match that speed off the end of the island. You can see Graham Ord there in the stroke seat, the former Edinburgh University athlete. Just granted himself a quick check out the boat there to his right-hand side to see whether they were still in touch. You would have seen a whole heap of water, though, unfortunately, as they trail now by almost a length here in these first few 100 metres. Now, De Hoop, we talked quite a lot about them in that previous race in the Wyfold Challenge Cup. And they're steering not so great in that Cox's boat, but here they are under the stewardship of Julia Groenveld, the 26-year-old Cox, who started rowing 8 years ago at Skull in Amsterdam, and a very experienced race. She's won 15 races as part of the crew, and a former national. She's got multiple former national and Olympic rowers, so you can see the back of her head there, guiding this crew down. Now, this crew now quite far up, Tom, and as a Cox of this crew, what do you think Julia Groenveld is going to be saying to them through these middle parts of the race?
Focus. It's all about focus. Henley is knockout, it's gladiatorial. To re-exercise cliches that have sort of been on the stream already, it is mano, and although you're leading, although you've sort of got a couple of lengths of clear water, truly anything can happen, and she'll be reiterating to her crew, focus. Eyes in our boat, think about what we're doing, don't worry about London, it's all about just getting to that finish line in one piece. And as De Hoop row away, I feel like London may be losing hope in regaining terms.
Yeah, the further and further that bit of clear water grows between the crews, the harder it becomes for London Rowing Club to get back on terms. And the bigger the boat, the harder it is to respond, because you've got to try and get all 8 athletes to do the same thing at the same time to execute, you know, a big surge of boat movement. When you're in a small boat, that can happen much more instantaneously, whereas in a big boat, you know, it's a really big job here for Heather Scott, who's the Cox from London, over on the left-hand side of your picture, to try and make that magic happen, to get them to pick the boat up at the same time and try and really make a move.
Yeah, you've nailed it there, Camilla. These boats are big, they're heavy. Once they're up to speed, they're really fast, but they're really difficult to accelerate and decelerate. So London will need to find something pretty special in the second half of this race as those crews move past the Forley marker. But what I would remark on is the strength and the compelling nature of the Thames Challenge Cup for Club 8s this year. This De Hoop crew, one of 4 or 5 Club 8s that I've seen who look really, really good. And I think as you watch that De Hoop crew, you sometimes get a sense, Camilla, early on in the sort of the Tuesdays, the Wednesdays of Henley Royal, you watch a crew and you think, yeah, they've got something about them.
Yeah, and I agree. There's just something about this crew that look quite sharp. I really like the way that they press the legs through the finish. If you look at the knees, that's, I think, for me, a really good indicator of a good big boat that's moving together is the timing of the knees hitting what we call the deck of the boat, which is the bit where, you know, the sort of bottom and the base of the boat that you roll up and down the seat on. If the knees go down together, it's often a really good sign that everyone's applying the power together, which makes it A, really smooth, but B, really fast.
100%. And look, a rich history of rowing in the Netherlands, and so many wonderfully talented programmes from Holland who come to race at Henley, and this boat 3rd at the Heineken Cup behind Skoll and Neerhaus, I think both of whom have crews here this week. I don't think we've had as many entries from Holland as we do this year in many years. I think it's been a really strong contingent over, and this crew from De Hoop, they're only here for one reason. They are in the Wyfold, as you pointed out, and we did commentate on a few races ago, but this Thames crew is their top boat, and I think they're putting the screws now to London. They're not allowing them any chink in the armour at all. I don't think London are going to find enough here to overturn.
The bow seat of London Rowing Club A there on the left-hand side of your picture, just taking a little turn there. The 23-year-old Charles Powell wanting to lock eyes on De Hoop, just to, not, as you say, not lose hope that they've got touch still in their grasp, but they've had to really work hard for this the whole way down the course. And it's a long race, rowing one of those sort of unique sports where not only anaerobic but aerobic, you're sprinting, but you're also trying to make yourself kind of get down the track in one piece for near on, 7 minutes against the stream. And we've had a little bit of rain, so, stream not as slow as it could be, so rowing against that water. And I don't know, most people probably listening to this have been for a swim in the river at some point in time. If you're going against the stream, it can be very tough. So, big kudos to all of these athletes who make it look easy as they move down. Just another small glance there from Charles Powell, who's the closest to De Hoop. He'll be the one that's able to kind of just about out of his periphery see and hear them. But it really is now or never as they come into the stewards' enclosure.
And that's the broader question, right? How do you, as London, find the motivation? But then you enter that sort of chamber of noise that the stewards' enclosure on a Wednesday afternoon in the sunshine generates. Lots of domestic support from this London crew, and although they're not going to overturn this deficit, they are at least going to have the sort of support and the cheers and the compulsion from the bank to try and do their very best right to the line.
I love this De Hoop crew. They just look like they're sort of, as they come to the catch, they're closing up like a spring and then unleashing on the drive all together. Like I say, those knees all going down in time together, and that is what has given them that speed and efficiency to cross the line ahead of a hard-fighting London Rowing Club A, who unfortunately not to progress in this Thames Challenge Cup. Great sportsmanship at the end there. Again, I think that's another lovely little touch here at Henley Royal Regatta, as we often hear that sort of support between the two crews as they cross the line.
Wonderful tradition, sportsmanship at its best, and I think De Hoop, that's a crew to watch out for as this regatta unfolds.